In Genoa City, power struggles never stay quiet for long. Just when it seemed like Victor Newman had everything under control, a new problem is beginning to grow, and this one may be harder to solve than he expected. Right now, Victor is facing serious resistance from Phyllis Summers. She refuses to back down, refuses to give in, and refuses to hand over control without a fight. That determination may be admirable to some people, but to Victor Newman, it is a direct challenge. And anyone who knows Victor understands one thing very clearly: he does not tolerate challenges for long. Phyllis is currently in a dangerous position. Legal pressure is building around her, and the threat of prison is becoming more real by the day. Yet even with that risk hanging over her, she has continued to stand firm. She believes she still has a chance to protect what she fought for. But standing against Victor Newman is never simple. Victor has built his reputation by winning battles that others thought were impossible. He is strategic, patient, and often willing to go further than anyone expects. If one plan fails, he simply creates another. That is why many people believe this fight is far from over. At first, Victor may have assumed Phyllis would panic under pressure and quickly surrender. After all, most people would not want to risk everything in court. Most people would not gamble their future when prison is a possibility. But Phyllis is not most people. She has always been unpredictable. She thrives in chaos, survives under pressure, and often becomes stronger when others expect her to break. That makes her one of the few people bold enough to stand in Victor's path. Still, even strong people can run out of options. If this situation moves toward trial, the stakes become enormous for everyone involved. Phyllis could lose far more than control of a company. She could lose her freedom, her reputation, and any leverage she still has left. And if Christine Blair returns with full authority, that pressure could become even more intense. Christine has never been someone to overlook wrongdoing. If she officially steps back into power, Phyllis may find herself dealing with an opponent who is prepared, focused, and ready to act. That alone would be enough to worry anyone. But here is where things become more complicated. Victor also has something to lose. From the outside, many people assume Victor always holds the advantage. But even powerful men face risk when secrets are involved. If this battle continues in public court, uncomfortable questions may begin to surface. Questions about evidence. Questions about manipulation. Questions about how far Victor may have gone behind the scenes. There are whispers that certain technology connected to Kane Ashby's AI program could become part of the story. If investigators begin digging deeper, they may uncover details Victor never wanted exposed. And if that happens, the courtroom battle could shift fast. Victor knows this. He understands that trials are unpredictable. Once lawyers, witnesses, and investigators become involved, control can disappear quickly. What begins as a simple case can turn into a much larger scandal. That is exactly the kind of chaos Victor prefers to avoid. He does not want a long war. He wants a fast victory. Every day this conflict continues creates more damage. Employees have already begun shifting loyalties. Business confidence can weaken. Public perception can change. And the longer uncertainty hangs over the company, the more difficult recovery becomes. Even if Victor eventually wins, what will be left by the time the battle ends? That is the question he may now be asking himself. Because for Victor Newman, victory is not enough if the prize has already been destroyed. So now, many are wondering whether Victor is preparing to change tactics. Instead of relying only on legal pressure, he may decide to use something far more effective: psychological pressure. Victor has never been limited to one strategy. He studies people. He learns their fears, their weaknesses, and their breaking points. Then he moves at exactly the right moment. And when it comes to Phyllis Summers, there may be one name from the past that could shake her more than anyone else. A name tied to history. A name tied to chaos. A name tied to fear. Patty Williams. Patty has always been one of Genoa City's most unpredictable figures. She has a long and complicated past, especially when it comes to Phyllis and others in town. While some believe she has changed, others are not so sure. Victor, however, may see something different. He may see opportunity. Because if there is one thing Victor respects, it is results. And in the past, Patty delivered results in ways few others could. Now that she appears to still be around Genoa City, the timing may not be a coincidence at all. Could Victor be thinking about calling on her once again? Could he be planning a brand new mission designed specifically to break Phyllis once and for all? If so, this story may be about to become much darker. Phyllis knows how dangerous enemies can be. She has fought plenty of them over the years. But someone like Patty creates a different kind of fear, because with Patty, unpredictability is always part of the equation. And if Victor offers the right incentive, Patty may be willing to listen. Money has changed many loyalties before. A promise of reward could be enough to bring Patty back into Victor's world, especially if he convinces her that she is helping settle old scores. If that happens, Phyllis may soon discover that her biggest legal threat is no longer the courtroom. It may be something far more personal. Because when Victor Newman decides to win, he rarely stops at ordinary solutions. And if Patty Williams becomes involved again, Genoa City could be heading toward a dangerous new chapter. One where fear replaces strategy. One where pressure becomes psychological. And one where Phyllis is forced to ask herself a terrifying question. How much can she endure before she finally gives in? That answer may come sooner than anyone expects. As tension continues to rise in Genoa City, Victor Newman may be reaching the point where patience is no longer enough. Legal pressure has not forced Phyllis Summers to surrender, and public pressure has not broken her confidence. Instead of stepping aside, Phyllis has continued to fight harder. That alone could push Victor toward a far more dangerous plan. Victor is a man who believes every problem has a solution. Sometimes that solution is money. Sometimes it is influence. Sometimes it is silence. And when none of those work, Victor often turns to something more aggressive. That is why whispers are beginning to grow that he could bring Patty Williams back into the picture. For many people in Genoa City, Patty is a name connected to instability, obsession, and unpredictable behavior. She has a long history filled with emotional extremes, shocking actions, and moments that changed lives forever. Some people believe Patty has improved. Others believe she simply became quieter. But Victor may not care about any of that. He only cares whether she can be useful. And if Phyllis remains impossible to control, Patty may suddenly become very valuable. Victor remembers what happened the last time he worked with Patty. He remembers that when others failed, Patty succeeded. She created chaos exactly where it was needed, and the fallout gave Victor the advantage he wanted. To a man like Victor, results matter more than methods. So if he believes Patty can once again help remove an obstacle, he may not hesitate to contact her. Imagine the conversation. Victor calls Patty privately. He reminds her of their past success. He tells her there is unfinished business in Genoa City. Then he offers something impossible to ignore: another reward. Money has always been one of Victor's most effective tools. He knows how to motivate people, especially those who feel overlooked, isolated, or eager for purpose. Patty could fit that description perfectly. She may see this as more than a job. She may see it as a chance to matter again. And if Victor frames Phyllis as someone who deserves to be taught a lesson, Patty might become emotionally invested very quickly. That is where the real danger begins. Because when Patty becomes emotionally attached to an idea, things rarely stay controlled for long. Victor may believe he can manage her. He may think he can point her in the right direction and collect the results afterward. But history suggests otherwise. Patty has never been easy to predict. She follows her own emotions, her own impulses, and her own sense of justice. Once she starts moving, even Victor may struggle to control what happens next. Still, Victor might decide the risk is worth it. Phyllis has become a serious problem. She refuses to surrender the company. She refuses to be intimidated. She continues pushing forward despite the legal threats surrounding her. That level of resistance could make Victor more determined than ever. He may conclude that traditional pressure will never work. So instead, he could choose personal pressure. And nobody applies personal pressure quite like Patty Williams. Phyllis and Patty share years of hostility. Their history is messy, emotional, and filled with deep resentment. These are not two people who simply dislike each other. Their conflict runs much deeper than that. Phyllis knows Patty can be dangerous. Patty knows exactly how to get under Phyllis's skin. That combination could be explosive. If Patty approaches Phyllis unexpectedly, even simple encounters could become psychological warfare. A surprise visit. A strange message. A warning that only Phyllis understands. Small moments could quickly build into something terrifying. Phyllis has already endured emotional trauma in recent times. She has faced manipulation, fear, and situations where she felt powerless. That kind of experience leaves scars. Victor may know that someone in Phyllis's condition could be more vulnerable than she appears. Outwardly, she may look strong. But inwardly, old fears may still exist. Patty could target exactly those fears. Not through violence. Not through threats. But through relentless mental pressure. Imagine Phyllis beginning to wonder if she is being watched. Wondering if Patty is nearby. Wondering what might happen next. That kind of stress can destroy focus, confidence, and judgment. And if Phyllis begins making mistakes, Victor wins. If she panics, Victor wins. If she signs everything over just to make it stop, Victor wins. That may be the entire strategy. Victor understands that sometimes people break long before any courtroom decision is reached. He knows fear can be more powerful than legal action. So while everyone else watches the public battle, Victor may be preparing a private one. But there is one major problem with this plan. Patty is not a machine. She is not an employee who follows instructions and leaves quietly afterward. She is Patty Williams. If she becomes involved, emotions from the past could return fast. Old obsessions. Old anger. Old confusion. And once those feelings rise, the mission Victor created may spiral into something no one expected. Even Phyllis's enemies might begin to worry. Because there is a difference between scaring someone and unleashing chaos. Victor may think he is choosing a weapon. In reality, he could be lighting a fuse. Meanwhile, Phyllis may sense that something is changing. People like her often survive because they notice danger early. If strange events begin happening around her, she may realize this is no ordinary pressure campaign. She may suspect Victor. She may suspect Patty. And once Phyllis feels cornered, she becomes more dangerous too. That means Genoa City could soon have three powerful forces colliding at once. Victor, determined to reclaim everything. Patty, unpredictable and emotionally volatile. Phyllis, desperate and unwilling to lose. When those three energies meet, nobody stays safe for long. The question now is not whether Victor wants to win. The question is how far he is willing to go. And if Patty accepts his offer, the answer may be darker than anyone imagined. Because once old enemies are pulled back into new wars, the damage rarely stays contained. And Phyllis may soon discover that surviving the courtroom was only the beginning. As the battle for power intensifies, Phyllis Summers may soon realize that the danger around her is no longer only legal or financial. Something darker could be forming behind the scenes, and if Victor Newman is truly changing tactics, then Phyllis may be heading into the most personal fight of her life. Victor has always understood one powerful truth: people can survive lawsuits, scandals, and public humiliation. But fear? Fear can destroy someone from the inside. That may be exactly why Patty Williams could become part of his next move. If Victor believes Phyllis will never surrender through normal pressure, then he may decide to attack where she is weakest, her emotional stability. Phyllis has spent years presenting herself as strong, fearless, and impossible to control. In many ways, that image is true. She has survived betrayals, heartbreak, family conflict, business wars, and more than one public downfall. But strength does not mean invincibility. Even the strongest people carry wounds no one else can see. Recent events have already shaken Phyllis deeply. She has dealt with manipulation, dangerous schemes, and moments where she felt trapped. Those experiences may still be affecting her more than she admits. Victor could know that. He watches everything. He notices when people are tired. He notices when they are distracted. He notices when their confidence starts to crack. If he senses weakness in Phyllis now, he may choose this exact moment to strike. And Patty may be the perfect instrument for that plan. Unlike lawyers or business rivals, Patty knows how to get personal. She knows how to make someone uncomfortable without saying much at all. A smile, a stare, a strange comment, or simply appearing at the wrong place at the wrong time, those small actions can become terrifying when coming from someone with Patty's history. Phyllis knows that history better than most. That means Patty would not need to do much to shake her. Sometimes the memory of past chaos is enough. Imagine Phyllis arriving home late at night and noticing someone standing across the street. Imagine receiving flowers with no card. Imagine hearing a familiar laugh in a crowded room. Imagine turning around and seeing Patty smiling. That alone could be enough to send panic through Phyllis. And Victor may be counting on exactly that. Because panic changes people. It causes mistakes. It creates paranoia. It weakens judgment. If Phyllis begins reacting emotionally, she could damage her own case, isolate allies, or make reckless decisions that hand Victor the victory he wants. This is why psychological pressure can be so effective. The target often destroys themselves. Still, Victor may be underestimating one critical factor. Phyllis is not helpless. She has reinvented herself many times. Whenever people think she is finished, she finds a way back. If Patty starts playing games, Phyllis may not collapse the way Victor expects. She may fight back. And when Phyllis fights back, she can be ruthless. Instead of hiding in fear, she may begin gathering proof. She may start watching Victor's moves more carefully. She may even turn Patty's involvement into a weapon against him. If Phyllis can prove Victor is using intimidation or harassment, public sympathy could shift in her favor overnight. Victor knows reputation matters. Even for someone as powerful as him, scandal creates risk. That is why this strategy could become a gamble. Yes, Patty may scare Phyllis. But Patty could also expose Victor. Patty has never been known for staying silent forever. If she feels betrayed, ignored, or manipulated, she might reveal everything. And if that happens, Victor would face more than business trouble. He could face legal trouble, public outrage, and growing rebellion from people inside his own circle. Because even loyal allies sometimes turn away when lines are crossed too far. Meanwhile, Phyllis may begin to notice something else. Victor seems unusually impatient. That could tell her more than words ever could. If Victor were fully confident in winning through normal means, why resort to Patty at all? Why risk chaos? Why invite unpredictability back into Genoa City? The answer may be simple. Victor is worried. Worried that court could uncover secrets. Worried that time is damaging the company. Worried that Phyllis may be stronger than expected. And worried men often make dangerous choices. If Phyllis recognizes that fear, it could give her new confidence. For the first time in this battle, she may realize Victor is not untouchable. He is scrambling. He is adjusting. He is reacting. That changes everything. Because once Phyllis sees weakness, she may strike harder than ever. She could publicly accuse Victor of intimidation. She could pressure Christine to investigate deeper. She could expose business deals, secret moves, or hidden manipulation from the past. She could turn defense into offense. And if she does, Victor may regret ever involving Patty. Still, nothing in Genoa City is ever simple. Patty herself may become conflicted. What if she reconnects with Phyllis unexpectedly? What if old anger turns into strange sympathy? What if Patty decides Victor is the real villain in this story? That would create a twist nobody saw coming. Victor believes he is hiring a weapon. But weapons sometimes change direction. As all of this builds, one thing is becoming clear. The war between Victor and Phyllis is no longer about a company. It is about control. It is about pride. It is about proving who can break the other first. And with Patty now potentially caught in the middle, emotions could explode from every side. Phyllis wants freedom. Victor wants victory. Patty may want purpose. Those three desires cannot peacefully exist together for long. Sooner or later, someone will make a move that changes everything. And when that happens, the fallout could hit far beyond the people directly involved. Families, businesses, and relationships may all feel the shock. Because in Genoa City, private revenge never stays private for long. And Phyllis may soon learn that surviving fear is only the first step. As pressure builds on every side, Phyllis Summers may be entering the most dangerous stage of this conflict yet. The legal battle is still active, the fight for control is far from over, and now the emotional tension behind the scenes could be reaching a breaking point. Victor Newman has never liked delays. He does not enjoy waiting, and he certainly does not enjoy resistance. For a man used to controlling outcomes, Phyllis's refusal to surrender may feel like a personal insult. That could explain why his methods are becoming more extreme. If Patty Williams has truly stepped back into Victor's orbit, then the situation may soon move from business warfare into something much more unpredictable. Because Patty does not operate like lawyers or executives. She operates through emotion. She reacts to energy, conflict, and personal connection. Once she becomes involved, events rarely follow a neat plan. Victor may think he can direct her actions, but control has always been an illusion when it comes to Patty. That means even if Victor intends only to pressure Phyllis, the result could become much larger. Phyllis may already feel that shift happening. Small details often reveal bigger threats. A sudden sense of being watched. Strange encounters in public. Familiar faces appearing at unexpected times. The feeling that someone is always just one step behind. Those moments create stress quickly. And stress changes everything. Phyllis may begin losing sleep. She may become distracted during meetings. She may snap at allies who are trying to help. She may question who she can trust. That is how fear spreads. It starts quietly, then grows into something that affects every decision. Victor may be counting on that chain reaction. He knows exhausted people make mistakes. He knows isolated people become vulnerable. He knows desperate people sometimes choose surrender simply to make the pressure stop. But once again, he may be forgetting who Phyllis really is. Phyllis does not stay down forever. The more threatened she feels, the more determined she often becomes. If she believes Victor is using Patty against her, she may stop reacting emotionally and start thinking strategically. That would be a major shift. Instead of running from fear, Phyllis could decide to expose the entire scheme. She may begin documenting everything. Every suspicious encounter. Every message. Every witness who saw Patty nearby. Every unusual move Victor makes behind closed doors. If enough evidence builds, Phyllis could turn to the authorities. Or even worse for Victor, she could go public. Imagine headlines suggesting Victor Newman is using intimidation tactics in a corporate war. Imagine shareholders questioning his leadership. Imagine allies wondering whether they are next if they ever disobey him. That kind of damage cannot be solved with money alone. Victor protects power fiercely, but reputation matters too. He has spent years building an image of strength, leadership, and control. If that image cracks, the consequences could spread fast. Meanwhile, Patty may be changing in ways Victor does not notice. At first, she may enjoy being needed again. Having a mission. Feeling important. Feeling chosen. But Patty is emotional at her core. The longer she stays near Phyllis, the more complicated things could become. Old memories may return. Old resentment may mix with confusion. And unexpected empathy could appear where anger once lived. If Patty starts seeing Phyllis as a victim instead of an enemy, Victor's plan could collapse overnight. Even more dangerous, Patty might decide to confront Victor directly. She could accuse him of manipulation. She could demand more money. She could threaten to reveal everything if he cuts her loose. Victor hates losing leverage, and Patty is the kind of person who can become leverage against him very quickly. That creates a new possibility no one expected. What if Victor becomes trapped by his own plan? He brought Patty back to pressure Phyllis. But now Patty could pressure Victor. At the same time, Phyllis may find surprising support from people who usually keep their distance. Some in Genoa City may not like Phyllis personally, but they dislike abuse of power even more. If word spreads that Victor crossed a line, neutral people could choose sides. That would frustrate Victor deeply. He expects fear. He expects obedience. He does not expect sympathy for Phyllis. And yet sympathy can be powerful when someone appears cornered unfairly. Phyllis may use that momentum carefully. She knows how to influence opinion when needed. She knows how to tell a story, frame a conflict, and place herself in the strongest possible position. If she senses the public mood shifting, she may strike hard. She could paint Victor as desperate. She could portray Patty as a manipulated pawn. She could present herself as the one person bold enough to stand against a bully. That narrative could change the entire battle. Victor would still have money. He would still have influence. But he would no longer control the story. And in modern power struggles, controlling the story can matter as much as controlling the company. As this storm builds, every side is under pressure. Victor is trying to finish what he started. Phyllis is trying to survive and fight back. Patty is trying to understand where she truly belongs. Those goals are heading toward collision. Soon, someone will make a decision that cannot be undone. Maybe Phyllis releases proof. Maybe Patty turns on Victor. Maybe Victor pushes too far and triggers consequences he never expected. Whatever happens next, peace seems impossible now. This battle has become personal, emotional, and dangerous. And when power wars become personal in Genoa City, fallout never stays limited to one person. Families split. Alliances break. Secrets spill. And people who thought they were safe suddenly find themselves in the middle of chaos. Phyllis may be frightened. Victor may be furious. Patty may be unstable. That combination can only lead to one thing: an explosion of consequences. As everything moves closer to the edge, Genoa City may be only moments away from a major turning point. What began as a battle over business control has now transformed into something much deeper: revenge, fear, pride, and personal survival. Victor Newman wanted one thing from the start. He wanted his empire back. He expected pressure, influence, and strategy to be enough. He believed Phyllis Summers would eventually realize she had no path forward and simply give in. But Phyllis refused. She stood her ground when others would have folded. She challenged Victor publicly. She survived legal threats. She continued fighting even when the odds looked impossible. That resistance may have pushed Victor further than anyone expected. Now, if Patty Williams is truly involved, then Victor may have crossed into dangerous territory using emotional warfare instead of business tactics. And once someone crosses that line, returning is never easy. Phyllis may now understand exactly what she is facing. This is no longer only about a company. This is about breaking her. Victor may want her exhausted, isolated, frightened, and desperate enough to sign everything away just to regain peace. But Phyllis has spent her entire life surviving impossible situations. She has been underestimated before. She has been cornered before. And every time people believed she was finished, she found a way to rise again. That is why the final stage of this battle could surprise everyone. Instead of collapsing, Phyllis may become more focused than ever. Fear can weaken some people. For others, it creates clarity. Phyllis may finally stop reacting emotionally and begin planning several moves ahead. She may gather allies quietly. She may collect evidence carefully. She may prepare one major strike designed to expose Victor completely. And if she succeeds, Victor could lose far more than this single fight. He could lose trust. He could lose loyalty. He could lose the image of invincibility that has protected him for years. That image matters. Victor's greatest strength has never been money alone. It has been the belief that he always wins. Once people stop believing that, his power changes. Phyllis may understand this better than anyone. If she can prove Victor acted out of desperation, then the legend weakens. Meanwhile, Patty Williams may become the biggest wildcard of all. Victor likely sees her as a tool. Phyllis likely sees her as a threat. But Patty may see herself very differently. She may believe she is the one person who truly understands everyone involved. She may think she is helping fix old wrongs. Or she may simply want to matter in a town that often forgets her. That emotional hunger makes Patty unpredictable. At any moment, she could help Victor. At any moment, she could help Phyllis. At any moment, she could betray them both. And that uncertainty may be what finally shakes Victor. Because Victor can control many things. He can control contracts. He can control deals. He can control loyal employees. But he cannot truly control chaos. And Patty often brings chaos wherever she goes. As the pressure peaks, one final confrontation may be unavoidable. Imagine Victor and Phyllis facing each other with no lawyers, no boardrooms, and no public audience, just raw truth between two people who refuse to lose. Victor may demand surrender. Phyllis may refuse again. Victor may threaten consequences. Phyllis may reveal she already knows everything. That moment could change the future of Genoa City. If Phyllis has proof, Victor may be forced into retreat. If she does not, Victor may move harder than ever. And if Patty interrupts at the wrong moment, all control could vanish instantly. There is also another possibility. Sometimes the greatest damage comes after victory. Even if Victor gets the company back, what will it cost? Broken trust. Destroyed relationships. Fear inside his own family. Questions from allies. And enemies more motivated than ever to bring him down. That is not true victory. Phyllis knows this. She may lose control of a company and still win the larger war if Victor destroys his own legacy in the process. That is why the next chapter may not be about ownership at all. It may be about consequences. Who still stands when the dust settles? Who is trusted? Who is isolated? Who regrets the choices made in anger? Those answers may define everything moving forward. For Phyllis, survival may become strength. For Victor, victory may feel emptier than expected. For Patty, involvement may awaken emotions too powerful to contain. And for everyone watching, one lesson becomes clear. When powerful people turn personal grudges into war, nobody escapes untouched. Genoa City has seen many battles. But this one could leave scars that last much longer than anyone realizes. So now all eyes turn to what happens next. Will Phyllis outsmart Victor at the final moment? Will Victor reclaim everything and silence his enemies? Will Patty become the deciding factor no one predicted? Or will all three destroy one another in the process? One thing is certain. The calm is over. The lines are drawn. And the next move could change everything forever.